The man sat at the podium staring at the crowd. 1,000-yard stare, a face carved by war. These people, they came to hear him speak, expecting a good old-fashioned, patriotic, rah-rah, America-style war story. But what he said next, it damn near set the whole room on fire. He cleared his throat, leaned forward, and said 4 short words, yet 4 very powerful words. War is a racket. Silence. Eyebrows raised. War is a racket. Most people never considered that war is a scheme. And we're talking about biblical amounts of money. A few of the bigwig businessmen in the room suddenly looked very uncomfortable because the man saying it wasn't some hippie protester. He wasn't some college professor with a theory. No, the man standing before them was the most decorated Marine in U.S. history. He had stormed into battles on 4 continents. He had led invasions, toppled governments, and kicked in doors for corporate America before he even realized it. And now, he was here to tell everyone the dirty little secret, that he'd been used. That war wasn't about freedom, it was about business. And this man, his name was Smedley Butler, and he knew the game better than anyone. Now, let's talk about Smedley Butler. Before Butler became the guy exposing the entire military-industrial complex, he was its biggest weapon. This guy wasn't just a Marine, he was the Marine. 2-time Medal of Honor recipient, fought in every war you've never heard of. He was the real-life action hero before action heroes were a thing. By the time he was 16 years old, he was so eager to fight, he lied about his age and enlisted in the Marines. And what did they do? They shipped his baby-faced ass straight into battle in the Spanish-American War. Then he fought in China, then Nicaragua, then Haiti, then Mexico. This guy fought wars like other people change socks. If the U.S. needed a dirty job done overseas, they sent in Smedley Butler. And he did his job damn well. Because that's what he thought he was doing, fighting for America, defending freedom. Until one day he started putting the pieces together. See, Butler was a loyal soldier. He did what he was told. But after a few decades of spreading democracy, something wasn't adding up. Every time he got sent somewhere, it wasn't just about defending the homeland. It was about defending corporate interests, banana companies, oil companies, big banks. Turns out Butler wasn't just fighting for America. He was fighting for Wall Street. And once he realized that, he was pissed. Because here's the thing about Butler. He was a straight shooter. Not just with a gun, but with his mouth. He didn't give a damn about politics. Didn't care about making friends in high places. So when he retired, he did the unthinkable. He started telling the truth. In 1935, he wrote a book. A short, angry little book that shook the establishment to its core. It was called War is a Racket. And he didn't hold back. He laid it all out. How wars weren't fought for freedom, but for profit. How corporations made billions off the backs of dead soldiers. How he had spent his entire career as muscle for rich men in suits. And let me tell you something. This was back in 1935. Some things never change. But some things do. People didn't say this kind of stuff back then. But Butler, he didn't care. He didn't have a social media account to tell his side of the story like you do now. And let me tell you, the smear campaign was strong and swift. He called out the arms dealers, the bankers, the politicians who used patriotism to sell wars for profit. And if that wasn't ballsy enough, he accused America's richest men of trying to stage a coup. Yeah, a coup. Now here's where it gets really crazy. In 1933, a group of wealthy businessmen approached Butler with an idea. They wanted him to lead an army of 500,000 veterans march on Washington and overthrow President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and in return, they'd make him the dictator of America. I mean, what the actual hell? Now most guys, they'd either take the deal or run for their lives. But Butler? He played along, long enough to gather evidence, take names and then snitch on every single one of these rich bastards in front of Congress. Did the government do anything? Of course not. Butler exposed them anyway, because he gave a damn. Now, let's talk about you. You ever feel like you're being played? Like the game is rigged? Like the people in charge don't give a shit about you? Well, congratulations. Smedley Butler figured that out almost 100 years ago, and instead of staying quiet, instead of taking the easy road, instead of cashing in and shutting up, he spoke up. And let me tell you, if he could do that, what's stopping you? You got a job you hate? You got people feeding you lies? You gonna sit there and take it? Huh? You gonna sit there and take it? Or are you gonna stand up, call out the bullshit, and do something about it? Because Butler, he had everything to lose, and he still chose the truth. So what's your excuse? Get up, speak up, do something. And that, my friends, is your Monday morning motivation.